This week on Cartoon Dumpster Dive, we cover the cartoon, The Lazer Tag Academy. Joel, let me paint you a picture with my words.
Do it, Andrew. Paint me a glorious picture. Paint me like one of your French ladies.
It's Christmas morn. You've just gotten visited by old Saint Nicholas. You come downstairs, and there's a warehouse of boxes. And one of those boxes contains perhaps the raddest gift of the 90s. Rad being an important 90s word. Your very own laser tag kit. You now can shoot at your brother with legal immunity, and it's all fun and games. You put on a vest that weighs approximately 25 pounds, and at least the one I had. I don't know if this show is about the laser tag kit that I got as a kid, but I did have one. And you would punch in the codes to get like different kinds of guns. It worked approximately like a week and a half before that thing just absolutely crapped out.
So what did your laser tag kit look like? Because I'm thinking me and you had two different laser tag kits.
So it was a big black vest, and it had all the little nubs for it, and then it was almost identical to the one that you would go to, like, I can only think of Frankie's Fun Park. I think that's everywhere.
Okay.
But it was a lot like that one, only you had numbers on the side of the gun, and you could punch in a code, and there was like 111 was like the basic one, but you could also type in like machine gun or rocket launcher. The only thing that was different between the two was just the sound effects, but it was fun while it lasted. There was definitely a distance issue, because we lived on like 2 acres of land when I was a kid, and when we had that thing, you could not shoot somebody from that distance with a 90s era laser tag at home kit.
No. So it's funny because I had a vastly different laser tag setup. We had this.
Okay.
It was gray. So you said you basically put on a full on vest for your laser tag, right? Mine was, it basically condensed the vest to this book size thing that had these like Velcro straps, and it would sit in like the middle of your front. So it would sit like right in between your chest and your stomach. And that was the receiver. And then the guns, though, the laser tag guns, they almost look like something from the future. They was very curved and rounded.
Okay.
But that was a laser tag. Yeah, that was a laser tag that me and my family had.
Okay.
And I'll actually talk a little bit about that because, surprise, Andrew, this cartoon, the Lazer Tag Academy, it's a Reagan episode.
Oh, yeah. It is definitely out here to sell you, but I didn't look that hard. I just watched them, but I didn't look at what laser tag, at-home laser tag it was trying to sell you. Or maybe it was just trying to sell you all of them. I don't know.
Oh, well, I'm glad you don't know because I'm here to tell you, Andrew.
Oh, nice. Okay, but before we get right into it, this episode is brought to you by Tony. He wants to give a shout out to his fiance April. She was my best gift of last year. Last year being 2022. because we are in the year of our Lord 2023. Happy New Year, everyone. And yes, April, if Tony has somehow convinced you to listen to us while you guys are in the car, one, I'm sorry. And two, he loves you very much. And I wish you both a happy marriage whenever that may be. Subscribe to our Patreon and we'll show up to your wedding.
I was about to say, we hope to get an invite.
We don't know where you are.
No, but we just hope to get an invite. If it's close, we might stop by. Who knows?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Oscars. It's just nice to be nominated. Yeah, it's just nice for the invite.
Hey, look,
but what
I was about to say, when me and my wife got married, I sent wedding invitations to countless people. Even Guy Fieri.
You did not.
Okay, not the wedding invitation, but like the wedding party that we threw, because we got
okay.
But and it was solely for gifts, because I was just like, and I even sent one to Guy Fieri.
Did you get anything?
Hell no.
Aw, come on, Guy Fieri.
Come on, Guy Fieri.
Help a guy out.
I feel like I'm one of the few people in the world that would actually want you at the wedding.
Yeah.
I love Guy Fieri.
Oh, I do too. He's a treasure.
I think he is just the most chill, down-to-earth, famous dude out there. I love him.
But without further ado, Joel, let's do what we do best and review that theme song.
Let's hit it.
1,000 years from now, a perfect world. Laser Tag champion Jamie Jarren is the sole possessor of starlight power. Until the resurrection of a master criminal from the past, Draxon Greer. Through time in his quest to conquer the future, he is pursued by Jamie Jarren. Jamie must team with her ancestors, Tom, Beth, and Nikki Jarren. Join us now in our adventure through time to preserve the past, save the future, and keep the peace established by the Lazer Tag Academy.
My God.
What a concept for a cartoon about laser tag. You never see the Lazer Tag Academy, but for like maybe 5 to 10 minutes at a time. She travels back. You think that this show is going to be about these people who go to this school that teach you how to play laser tag, or at least before I watched this show, that's what I thought was going to happen.
That would have been more entertaining than this.
Yeah, but instead we get this weird time travel, and the lasers can do it. We'll get into this show in a minute.
This intro, because Andrew, I watched the first 3 episodes of this series, and that was all I could take. But when I first saw this intro, it raised so many questions. But it was all answered within like the first 5 minutes of the first episode. All my questions.
Do a lot of explaining.
And then the rest of it is just awful garbage.
Yeah.
Like, I had the question, why in the hell, if you're in the future in a peaceful society, why did you think it was smart to resurrect one of the world's best criminals,
most dangerous criminals? I don't know, because it even says it in the database. Says this is a bad dude.
Yeah, it's like, why would you do that? They explain it, but yes, it's a very just informative intro. It just gives you the backstory, so that way they can just try to sell you laser tag products.
Laser tag.
For 22 minutes, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'd give this, I'd give this intro about a 4.
I was going to give it a 1, man. I can't.
Oh, really? You don't like it that much?
No. I can't even find
Starting
anything
off
redeeming.
the new year strong with a 1.
Man. Oh, yes.
But other than the obvious, Joel, how did this get made?
So we've already talked about this. It's purely a Reagan show. It is made to sell a product. It was actually produced by Ruby Spears Production. You know, we've talked about them. Now, this is what I found interesting because in my memory, the laser tag set I had, to me, I'm like, that was new. And I would have went to my grave saying that laser tag was a product of the 90s, but it's actually a product of the 80s.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah, so this show, it aired on NBC, originally aired on NBC from September 13th, 1986, all the way to December 6th, 1986 of that same year. And, you know, of course, they started picking up reruns and doing things like that. But that's kind of the creation of this. Really, it's based off of the laser tag set, actually called Lazer Tag, that was produced by the toy company Worlds of Wonders.
Also, laser, and this one is spelled with a Z instead of an S. Just for educational purposes, laser stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. So I guess this laser stands for light amplification by zebra emissions of radiation.
No, the
I don't know any other Z words. Simulated?
The Z makes it more extreme. This ain't
it
your,
does.
This ain't
the
your
Z,
grandpa's
the Z
lasers.
is the 80s. Because we get the X later when we're growing up. Everything's extreme.
I could see it now. They probably started out with like, this ain't your grandpa's laser in the 80s.
Oh, definitely.
Yep. One thing I did find interesting is because, like I said, this was it was produced by Ruby Spears, but the actual company that made the laser tag set, Worlds of Wonder, they was the one that actually hired Ruby Spears to make this cartoon. At the same time, there was a competitor of laser tag that made their own laser tag show, but it was a live action series called Photon.
So that wouldn't be covered by us.
But released the same year in syndication, and it was done by Deke Entertainment.
Deke did live action stuff?
Apparently they did.
Oh, God. Does that mean we have to start a live action podcast to
eventually
cover all that?
Well,
yeah,
that'll be on our standalone just Deke extravaganza.
Maybe those can be the bonus episodes for our Patreon that we always we barely have anything for.
Yeah.
Thank you all to subscribe, though.
Oh yeah. So here is I want to give you a little backstory about the actual laser tag set that this show is based off of. So it was created by the laser tag system was created by Paul Rago. He was working at the toy company Worlds of Wonder in 1986, and it launched that year. So laser tag and the other one, the Photon laser tag set, which was made by Intertech, they released at the same time. Now, here is probably one of the craziest things, one of the craziest tie-ins that we probably ever had, Andrew.
Okay, let's hear it.
Laser tag saved Nintendo.
Is it because of Duck Hunt?
No, it is because
Really? Okay.
This is the story. So, Worlds of Wonder, Laser Tag, when it released in '86, huge. World of Wonder also had another toy that they was releasing. You might have heard of it, called Teddy Ruxpin. I don't know.
I remember I didn't have one myself, but I remember Teddy Ruxpin.
Yep. So how Laser Tag saved Nintendo from 1986 to 1987. This is after the video game crash of '83.
That's right. That's when E.T.
Yeah. So, video
fucked
games.
it all up for everyone.
Yeah. And really, video games at this time, kids were still in love with video games. But the big thing was wholesalers. They did not want to carry video games after E.T. because they lost so much money on all this, stock, basically.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, Worlds of Wonder was contracted by Nintendo of America. I'm sorry, contracted is not the right word. Contacted by Nintendo of America, which at this point, it's still a startup at this point in its history. And they basically entered into a partnership, and Worlds of Wonder that year for the holiday season, for every business, every company that wanted to sell the Laser Tag and Teddy Ruxpin, I think is how you pronounce it.
Teddy Ruxpin, I believe is how it's pronounced.
If you wanted to sell those two products, you also had to carry the Nintendo Entertainment System as well.
Huh. I'll be damned.
So basically, Worlds of Wonder basically strong-armed all these companies and told them, hey, I know you're kind of gun-shy with video game systems, but if you want to carry our products, you gotta sell Nintendo. That's it.
Wow, that's pretty cool though.
Oh yeah, to me that was awesome. It's been said that the ultimatum that Worlds of Wonder was giving these retailers was, if you want to sell Teddy Ruxpin and if you want to sell Laser Tag, you're going to sell Nintendo as well. And if you feel that strongly about it, then you all ought to just resign the line now.
That's pretty awesome.
They were standing firm. And I mean, we all know the history of Nintendo after the late 80s. I mean, that is when Nintendo just blew up their new NES system. I mean, the rest is history.
Yeah. You can go to a gaming YouTube or podcast channel for that one.
Yeah. I mean, that's been told half to death.
That's been told 100 times.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the craziness of this show. It was, the craziest thing to me is just how involved with Nintendo this company and Laser Tag is.
Oh yeah, that's really interesting, actually.
Oh yeah. But Andrew, I can't imagine, because like I said, 3 episodes in, that was enough of this series. The voice acting was not that great in it.
No.
So I can't imagine we're gonna get anybody that we really know that well.
You'd be surprised. There's actually a lot. We're not gonna name a lot of the additional voices, but there are actually some very famous voice actors who did additional voices in the show. And if you have a pretty good ear to the ground, you can hear them. But there are 2 that we mention quite often that are in this show. The voice cast for the Lazer Tag Academy is Frank Welker is Mr. Jaren, Ralphie, and Scuggs.
Okay.
Tress McNeil is Miss Jaren. Christina McGregor is Beth Jaren. Sid McCoy is Professor Olonga. Noelle Herling is Jamie Jaren. Pat Fraley is Charlie Ferguson. RJ Williams is Nikki Jaren. And Billy Jane is Tom Jaren.
Okay. Yeah, a couple names I recognize in there.
Yeah. Yeah, old Frank Welker.
Yeah, and Trace McNeil.
Those are definitely two. So for their other works, we have for Frank Welker. So I know that Frank Welker is Fred from Scooby-Doo.
Yep.
But Fred, there is some trivia about that. So he has done the voice for Fred Jones for all of the Scooby-Doo animated series, with the sole exception of a pup named Scooby-Doo in the movie Scoob that came out recently.
Yeah.
He's even in parodies, he makes it a point to be Fred Jones. So
that's awesome.
So that's pretty neat.
Yep.
Hold on. Tress McNeil. There are two WWE animated combo movies with the Jetsons and the Flintstones. They came out in 2015. I really think we should cover them someday.
Did you just say a combo movie between the WWE, so the Worldwide Wrestling Entertainment Company, and the Flintstones and the Jetsons?
Yes, both separate movies.
How?
I don't know.
We have to cover those.
Tress McNeil is Wilma Flintstone in the Flintstones one.
Okay.
Booker Bradshaw was a writer on Planet of the Apes, the 1974 one.
Okay.
Christina McGregor was additional crew on American Beauty. A lot of these people didn't go into the acting biz of any kind, especially the ones that played the kids. Sid McCoy is Mr. Langford in The Bill Cosby Show.
Okay.
Noelle Herling is Jennifer Smith in T.J. Hooker. Pat Fraley is Kang in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 1987. R.J. Williams is himself in Entertainment Tonight.
Okay.
And finally, Billy Jane was additional crew. No, edit that out. Billy Jane was Brett Camber in Cujo, 1983.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So, where do you even start, dude, with this cartoon? Like, okay, look, so when you think about it, you think you're gonna watch a show, you're gonna watch a cartoon where it's a school where you learn laser tag. I did assume it was going to be in the future. Maybe it was like a school in the future where their main sport, instead of like football or basketball or lacrosse, it's laser tag.
Yep.
That's what makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That is not this show.
No, it's
this show is about the light power that can you got to be a Jaren, or at least a blood relative of a Jaren, to possess the light power. So we have Beth Jaren, lives in the year 3010. She she has this power, and they try to practice with her using it. This power is basically whatever the plot needs this power to do, it can do it. So I'm not gonna. It can make bridges out of ice. It can travel through time. It can create holes where holes aren't there.
They literally
it can make
said,
stuff fly.
What they said in like the very first episode, the power of that, they was just like, you just think it and it will make it happen. Like
it's a shitty Green Lantern cartoon. That's what it is. It is if you wanted to watch the Green Lantern something Green Lantern, but you wanted it to also be bad, you could watch the Lazer Tag Academy.
Yep.
So we unfreeze this notorious criminal, Draxon Dreer, and the Skugs, which are these guys that are like, they're like Taz.
Yeah,
from Tasmania.
Those just basically.
They don't look like Taz. They look like if you've ever seen the 1980s movie Critters.
Oh yeah,
but
that's
with
a good one.
body and yellow.
Yeah, that was it. I was going to say Gremlins, but yours is so much better.
Because Gremlins are scaly, not furry. Critters were furry.
They've got like a mane around their head. It's just
yeah. And they're just always going. We're gonna do the rest of the podcast like that. Oh, excuse me. Actually, no, we're not. That's hard on the throat. That's what she said.
Ooh,
okay.
Hello.
So here's one thing that they answer way later in the series. So Draxon Dreer's goal is to go back in time and kill one of their relatives so he can be the only person with light power. So here's your first question, I'm sure. Why doesn't he just use the laser to do it? Well, that's because you can't. They have a rule that says Lazer Academy rule number 1 is you can't use lasers to hurt people. And that apparently is a rule that can't even be broken by villains. So there you go.
So that's a pretty strong rule.
That is a great rule. That's though they go back in time. So he goes back in time in what episode to convince their Salem, Massachusetts, and they try to convince one of the Jaren ancestors in Salem, that the townsfolk, that they're a witch, because he can't just go back and shoot him. But also, Draxon Dreer is just like a big guy. I feel like he could beat up a bunch of 10-year-old kids, much less kill them. But that would be a very dark.
For some reason, that thought never entered my mind. But
really?
It's so true. He is a grown adult.
He has a grown man who looks like he can bench 400 pounds. He could just walk up to Nick and just crush his head.
He could just slap him and knock him out. Yeah. There you go. Problem solved.
It's like, why is he going through all this effort? It's funny how he convinces them. So, the one where they go to Salem, Massachusetts, they have to, it's Abigail Jaren. And the way he convinces them is he gets all the Skugs to dress up as like little pumpkin heads and throw skeletons on all the houses except for Abigail's. He goes, that way they'll be sure to know that she's the witch and they'll burn her at the stake. Like, Draxum, why are you making this so complicated? Just go back there and burn her house down. If you have time travel, that's all you need.
Look, and back in those days, fires would just happen. And they would never investigate it. They would just like,
you could stub your toe and die back in those days.
Exactly. It would have been so easy.
What happened to Abigail? Doss' toe got stubbed and she got the sickness.
Oh, yes. I had an aunt who died of stub toe last year.
That was back when medicine was just chop off their appendages.
What's wrong with it? I've got a paper cut. Chop off that finger.
Oh, it's gotta go, man. Sorry. Here's some cocaine to feel better about it, though. And they're like,
if
I'll chop it off myself.
If his goal is to kill his own ancestors, so he is the only one with this laser power, would that not also kill him?
Yeah, see, that's another thing that I didn't understand. How does he know which ancestor to take out? Because maybe he's a cousin? Because his name is Draxon Dreer. Their last name is Jaren.
Maybe the laser tells him. Maybe he thinks, like, I want to know who to kill, and the laser basically just tells him, you need to kill this person.
Are you a writer on this show?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel... Okay, so here's my... Andrew, you know, I hate it when people or when writers use time travel.
Joel is a notorious time travel hater.
I think it's been done good in some series and in some, forms of media. But I do feel like time travel is kind of a very easy way for writers to just kind of fix plot holes.
Oh, big time.
And not only do they introduce that, so really, like you said, like they could fix any plot holes they need because of time travel, but they also make this all-powerful device that can make anything happen. I mean, it is just...
Except hurt people.
Well, that's the one and only thing. But I feel like it's very weak. I mean, it is a kid's cartoon. So, I
don't think they put a lot of thought into the let's sell these kids our laser tag.
They don't
show, but
they're not trying to
there
win
have
any
been
kind of
shows
Emmys
where
or
they do that before,
it is.
by God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've covered shows that were Reagan shows, and you could tell the writers they are trying to actually make it into something. Like they're actually trying to have a story. But
if I were a writer, I would consider it a challenge. If somebody was like, okay, we're only going to make this show to sell some bullshit.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, well, I'm going to take this upon myself to really flex my writing chops and actually make this a good show.
Yeah. This was not one of them, though.
No, it was not one of them.
So here was my question about Draxon. If his whole thing is to kill one of his ancestors that would be the cause of the spawn of what's the girl's name? Jamie?
Beth Jaren. Beth is the one from the future. They also don't have a lot of stuff in the future because every time they mentioned something from our time. She's like, we don't have that in the year 3010. Like, well, then what do you have?
Come on, it's 3010. Y'all should have some pretty cool shit. I mean, come on.
Yeah, she was like, we don't have snowshoes in the year 3010, which made me kind of nervous about global warming.
Maybe the cycle has
shit.
Maybe the cycle
they
has
already
changed.
knew about global warming.
But why didn't he just go back to that point where he was frozen in time? Like when the spaceship crashed, why didn't he go back to there and just kill one of his siblings? Because it would have been one of the siblings that spawned Beth.
Yeah. Or why didn't he just go back in time and stop himself from crashing?
Even that.
Yeah. He did not think any of this through.
He did not. He is not a very good villain, honestly.
So before we go into your new reoccurring segment, Joel, I was wondering if we could take a moment to actually talk about this laser tag set as a product.
Ooh,
'Cause
yes.
you said earlier that you had information on it, and I would love to hear what it was about.
So, throughout the history of laser tag, there has been different styles of laser tag. I mean, me and you both, I would say we probably got our laser tag sets roughly around the same time, but
Most definitely.
two completely different sets. And the kind of what you was explaining sounds like the original laser tag set that they had. These giant black vest. But let me go ahead and say this. They did not do a very good job of making the guns with laser tag when it first came out look like fake weapons.
Oh no.
Yeah. And that was the downfall of Wards of Wonder. If you're thinking, Andrew, why is it a company that had these two giant toys that was able
to get Nintendo back on top?
Why is it that we don't hear about them anymore? Well, it was probably because on April 7th, 1987, a 19-year-old kid by the name of Leonard Joseph Falcon was shot and killed in California by a sheriff's deputy after witnesses saw him and his friends playing laser tag and they thought it was a real gun. So when the deputy came out, the deputy didn't know that it was laser tag. And honestly, the gun that you see, the laser tag pistol that you see in the cartoon, that looks pretty close to
Yeah, that does look like a Glock 9, doesn't it?
I mean, it looks more like a gun, honestly.
Yeah.
Than like what I grew up with. It is, and
that still happens today.
It does, because really that happened in 1987, and Wards of Wonder went bankrupt and dissolved in 1988.
There's no coming back from that, though.
There was not, and really throughout the years, like different companies had bought the rights to laser tag. Tiger Electronics in the 90s bought the right to it.
I think that's what my laser tag was. It was Tiger.
Yeah, and then they I think they were acquired by Hasbro. And like I think the last I saw though in 2012 Hasbro released a new line of laser tag, but it was to integrate iPhones and tablets. So really,
I figured Airsoft would have taken over laser tag by now.
Well, let's. Airsoft has that same problem that the original
people getting shot.
Well, that's why you don't see people playing Airsoft just in their backyard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You normally see people going to an airsoft field to play airsoft because
that's a good point.
They actually look like legitimate real life
they
guns.
Look like guns. Fuck, they hurt too. I don't understand how people have fun doing that. I've been shot with one of those. Yeah, I guess usually you got thicker clothing on.
Yeah, and
not when I played it.
I kind of want to share. Here, I'm going to share my screen. The listeners, they won't be able to see this.
I'll post a picture on social media.
Exactly, but it's basically the set I had, and I wanted to show you this. So you see that?
Okay, yeah, yours looked like alien.
Yep,
what the hells?
But you can tell that those laser tag guns, you're not going to confuse those with a real gun.
No, most definitely not.
Yep, you will know. Hey, that's a toy, and you wouldn't shoot somebody who is playing with that. So,
well, I'd hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about as far as the different versions of laser tag. The tragic event of that kid dying. That's
unfortunate.
That caused World of Wonders to just go under. And like I said, other companies have bought the right. They all they'll remake it for its modern time. But yeah, I honestly, I can't imagine that we'll see a revival of laser tag, like a home version of it, anytime soon.
Yeah, probably not.
Or let me put it, the actual brand, Laser with a Z tag.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to mention before we go into the review segment. When Lazer Tag Academy, it had reruns, but when it was going, because it wasn't syndicated, it only aired on NBC. So Sci-Fi, they picked it up and started running reruns of this show, but they actually ran it under the title Laser Patrol.
That's a better name.
It's 100% a better name than Lazer Tag Academy.
That's a way better name.
I kind of wish they would have someone when they was trying to figure out the show would have just been like, hey, there ain't no academy in this show. Should we call it something else?
They don't go to school.
Where does the academy part take place?
But yeah, very true. Well, Joel, I believe it's time for us to go to your new reoccurring segment, reviews that play laser tag and reviews that are a laser drag.
All right, Andrew. So, surprise, surprise, there was not a lot of reviews for this cartoon.
Yeah, I can't imagine why.
I found one review that actually was rated, and it's a 10 out of 10. So that's what you guys are going to get. It's a pretty lengthy one, so buckle in or fast forward through this part. Who cares? But this is the 10 out of 10. It's called an honest review. Lazer Tag, or as the British say, Lazer Tag, was an epic of awesomeness for kids in the 80s, especially played in the dark where all you could really see were the red lights of the star sensor and ran the risk of colliding with the furniture, the walls, and the support beams in mom and dad's basement. And then you had the little red light in the sights that did absolutely nothing. But that was the toy and not the cartoon. The cartoon was just as cool. You wanted to grow up and be a gladiator in that laser tag arena, didn't you? And that house, forever onward to this day, a raised ranch in a Lazer Tag Academy house, isn't it? Really, what it is an awesome cartoon about time travel and laser guns, all in the hands of children led by a child that was a gladiator from the future and related to the family from distant generations that the family takes in without really questioning any of it. And if you were a kid in the 80s, you were more concerned about how fun and cool the whole thing was than you really were about trying to examine it.
If you were a kid in the 80s, you were more concerned about the Cold War, I would imagine.
I think they hit it. I mean, you think about it. When you're a kid, you don't care about current events. You just want toys. You want to have
all
fun.
watched 9/11.
Well, that's huge. So yes, there's been those major events that have happened as a kid that you are aware of, but you think about how much you probably keep up with current events now versus when you was 10, 11, Andrew.
That's true.
Yeah.
I guess you got me. You got me there.
But
well, Joe, do you have any closing thoughts about the Lazer Tag Academy?
Don't watch it. It's a terrible show. I mean,
you can watch it all on YouTube if you feel like it.
I mean, honestly, you could watch the first 10 minutes of that first episode. It explains the entire plot. It gives you a little bit that you would want, and that's it. But the rest of it, it's stupid. Don't watch it. If you want to have fun, just go buy a laser tag set and play with your kids. There you go.
Just not in front of cops.
Well, yeah. Well, I hope nowadays the guns, I think they fixed that problem.
Hopefully. I would have to say the Lazer Tag Academy is a poorly named show that tries a lot of things and fails miserably to execute all of them. Although I imagine it did get enough people to get excited about the laser tag set, which never worked that well to begin with, in order to buy them enough to where this company could stay afloat and then keep Nintendo alive. So I have to thank them for at least that, and this show probably helped with it. So that's one sliver of a gold star in this pile of shit of a show.
It was, you have to thank that company for what they did
gotta
with
give
Nintendo.
Credit where credit is due. They made Nintendo happen. They accidentally killed a child. Con.
Correct.
And also made this cartoon. Another con. Not as big as the first one, though.
Yep.
But I believe that wraps up the Lazer Tag Academy. If you'd like to reach the show, you can go to cartoondumpsterdive.com. There you can go to our shop and buy a shirt, or you can request a cartoon or to have two cartoons go head-to-head in our Junkyard Brawl. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/cartoondd. We have a $5 tier that gets you onto our Discord, and any sticker we make, we will send to you, new or old. We have a Twitter handle CartoonDD. We have a Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all Cartoon Dumpster Dive. And if you'd like to send us an email, you can send it to cartoondumpsterdive@gmail.com. And as always, we appreciate a 5-star review so our relatives don't have to travel back in time and save our podcast. Have a great rest of your week.
See ya. It was good.
Good.
I liked it.
Good enough. Good enough for government work is what some of my coworkers would say.
Good enough for government work.
Yeah, I don't know.
This has been a Lug Hole podcast.